Hello and welcome, my dear friend. There are pieces of your story that feel small when they happen. A moment, a gift, a whisper in your spirit when you were young, and you didn't know it then. But it wasn't random. God tucked something into your childhood, something He meant to preserve until the exact moment it would be needed. And that moment is drawing close. You may not even remember it clearly. Maybe it was the way you felt when you played alone, the songs you hummed without knowing why, the deep sensitivity you carried when others told you to toughen up. Maybe it was the ability to see beauty in simple things, or the instinct to help people even when you were the one in need. Whatever it was, that spark was not an accident. God hid it in you early to protect it from the noise of the world, and now He is calling it forward. When you were a child, your heart wasn't yet buried under responsibilities and survival. It was open, it was pure, and because of that, God could plant things in you that the world couldn't choke out. Think about it. The innocence of childhood is fertile ground. Your hands weren't clenched with worry. Your mind wasn't racing with doubt. You could imagine, dream, and feel freely. And into that space, God whispered truths that you might have forgotten, but heaven never did. That's why, even now, certain memories return unexpectedly. A place you haven't seen in years crosses your mind. A sound or a smell pulls you back to moments you thought were buried. Those flashes are not nostalgia, they are reminders. God is stirring the hidden seed. For years, it felt like survival pushed everything else aside. You had to work, fight, and endure. But even as you walked through seasons of heaviness, the childhood deposit in you never died. It was hidden, protected, waiting. And now, as your struggle season closes, that hidden gift is ready to rise. Think of it like a seed planted deep in soil. For a long time, you see nothing but dirt. You water it, the sun warms it, but still, nothing. Then one day, almost suddenly, the soil cracks. A sprout appears. The truth is, the growth was happening all along. It just wasn't visible until the right time. That's what God did in your childhood. He planted something in you that was invisible through your hardest years, and now the soil is cracking. The sprout is breaking through. Maybe it was creativity. Maybe it was a calling to heal. Maybe it was the unexplainable way you could sense God's presence even when no one else around you talked about Him. Whatever it was, you've carried it silently, almost forgetting it was there. But heaven never forgot. You see, God doesn't waste anything. The talents you had as a child, the instincts you couldn't explain, the dreams you sketched in notebooks, He kept them safe. And now, when you are mature enough to carry them without the world distorting them, He is unlocking them again. This is why certain passions are coming back, why the things you thought you outgrew are whispering to you again. It's not regression, it's resurrection. The world may tell you to move on or be realistic, but God is saying, go back to what I planted, because that is where your future has been waiting. And here's the mystery of it. What God hid in your childhood wasn't meant to flourish then. Childhood was the hiding place, not the harvest. The innocence you carried back then could not hold the weight of what He placed in you. That's why He waited. That's why He protected it through silence, through time, through struggle. And now He is declaring that it's time for that seed to rise. My dear friend, this is why you've felt restless, why the life you've been living feels too small lately. It's because something larger is pushing from within. The cocoon is cracking. The childhood deposit is pressing against the walls of your life, longing to come into the light. It may feel distant at first, because you buried it so long ago, but once it begins to rise, you'll recognize it immediately. It will feel like home, like the truest version of yourself, finally walking forward. Let me tell you this, the thing you thought was long gone is not gone. The voice you silenced, the spark you thought life buried, it is alive. It was hidden for a reason, and now God is bringing it into the open. The seed He planted in your childhood is ready. The soil is breaking, and soon you will see with your own eyes what heaven has been guarding for years. For too long, the world only knew the version of you that was surviving. They saw the person carrying weight, fighting battles, enduring loss. They didn't see what was buried deep, the part of you heaven has been protecting. But soon, that hidden deposit will speak for itself. You won't have to announce it. You won't have to explain it. The gift, the presence, the calling that God planted will rise in such a way that it becomes undeniable. It's like a fragrance released when a flower finally blooms. The flower doesn't try to convince anyone it's alive. It simply opens, and the proof is in the air. That's how what God hid in your childhood will move through you. Quiet, but undeniable. Gentle, but powerful. And when it does, it will feel familiar, because it has always been part of you. That's why nothing else has ever fully satisfied. The jobs, the roles, the versions of life you've tried to live, none of them carried the same resonance as what God planted in you first, because that original deposit was never meant to be replaced, only revealed. You may notice doors opening that feel strangely easy, connections coming to you without chasing, opportunities showing up that match the hidden design you almost forgot. That's not luck, it's alignment. When you live from the seed God planted, you don't have to manipulate outcomes. You step into the current of destiny, and life begins to carry you. This is the reason you've been feeling both restless and drawn forward. The old ways no longer fit. The old rooms feel too small. The conversations you once tolerated now drain you. Because the version of you God has been preparing is pressing through, and you cannot stay confined in what used to hold you. And here is the beauty. Nothing from those silent years is wasted. The struggles, the heartbreaks, the delays, they all became soil. Every disappointment created depth. Every rejection carved room inside of you for the gift to grow without distortion. What you thought was burying you was actually nurturing you. What looked like silence was God's way of strengthening the root system so the bloom would last. You are about to feel this activation in your everyday life. Passions you haven't touched in years will spark again. Skills you thought were lost will resurface with more strength than before. Even relationships that once confused you will begin to make sense, because you'll realize they were shaping the very qualities God needed alive in you now. It will feel like remembering, not learning. Like you're picking up something you put down yesterday, even though years have passed. That's how you'll know it's the childhood deposit. It won't feel foreign. It will feel like home, and the world around you will notice. The same way light shifts a room without making a sound, the rising of your hidden gift will shift atmospheres. People will sense peace, clarity, or conviction just by being near you. That's what happens when heaven pulls something forward. It carries weight beyond explanation. But hear me clearly, this is not about impressing anyone. It's not about applause or recognition. It's about alignment. When the seed God planted rises, you begin to live in rhythm with His original design for your life. And that rhythm produces fruit, not just for you, but for everyone connected to you. Some will resist it, some will misunderstand, but others will be drawn to it like thirsty souls to water. Because what God hid in you was never just for you. It was for others who would need the shade of your tree, the fruit of your growth, the light of your presence. My dear friend, you are standing in a holy transition. The struggle of carrying what felt unseen is ending. The season of wondering if your life has meaning is closing, and the unveiling of what was hidden is beginning. This is not a small turn. This is not just another chapter. This is the moment heaven has been preparing since your first breath. The reason you endured, the reason you survived, the reason you never fully fit into the molds others tried to press you into. It's because you were carrying something too sacred to be wasted. And now that sacred thing is stepping out. Picture it, a curtain rising on a stage. The actors were always there. The set was always prepared, but until the curtain lifted, the audience couldn't see it. That's what God is doing now. The curtain is rising. What was hidden is about to be revealed. And when it is, you'll finally understand why the struggle was so fierce. The enemy wasn't fighting the version of you that everyone could see. He was fighting the version hidden in your childhood, the one heaven has been guarding until now. That version is unstoppable. That version is anointed. That version is you, fully awake, fully alive, fully aligned. So lift your head and shake off the dust. The hidden seed is breaking through. The gift is emerging. And soon, you will not only remember what God placed in you, you will walk in it, live in it, and bless others through it. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.